Hi guys! So, the saga of the internet continues. Oh, Maddie, careful baby. Lovely Jake the technician has been out again this morning to replace a cable. So now everything from where the internet comes into the wall right the way through to the Wi-Fi itself, and including I had the landlord was here last week, so I just got him to get his electrical thing out and just test the plug, just to make sure there was nothing wrong with the plug, so they can't claim it's anything to do with the house. And I also had him do an electrical test on my extension cable, because the router is on that side of the room and the only plug in the room is on that side of the room, so I have to use an extension cable. I've got no choice. So I got him to do a pat test on both. Everything is fine. He pat tested the plug for the router as well, because they didn't change that out. So everything electrical has been pat tested. Everything from Virgin Media has been replaced, and lovely Jake says that if anything else goes wrong and I still keep losing internet randomly for no reason at any given time of day, and there is no fault anywhere else, which handily my upstairs neighbour and my neighbour that way both have Virgin as well. So if the internet goes down, I just text either Helen or Paul and say, "Is your internet working?" And usually they both go, "Yeah, it's fine." I go, "Great, it's just me then." So yeah, everything's been replaced. So if it still happens, if I'm still dropping frames, if I'm still losing my internet randomly, like happened with Twitch yesterday, very sorry about that, the guys who were enjoying my little Twitch stream. I was gutted when it suddenly just, all the music went off, and I was like, what happened to Amazon Music? Oh, what happened to everything? Where's my internet? Yeah, so if it still causes problems, it's something to do with the infrastructure from the road to the house. That's the only other thing that hasn't been replaced. It can't be the stuff in the road, because everybody else's still works. So something with the signal between the road and the house, if it still happens. So fingers crossed, everybody. Fingers crossed that we get through this stream, however long it may be. Because, you know, with me, it could be 10 minutes, it could be 3 hours, you never know. Let's just fingers crossed that we get through it without it just going, oh, I'm not going to work anymore. Because I know it's nothing to do with my computer. I've already tested that. There's nothing wrong with my computer. Anyway, how are you guys? If you are, I know some of you will be watching on Patreon. If you've seen the little clip link thing, do click the link to come through to YouTube if you want to join the live chat. And if you are watching on YouTube, hello, feel free to jump in with questions. I thought today I would do a quick What's in My Bag One Book July digital edition, because obviously I have gone, hi Sylvana, Sylvana, that sounds nice, Sylvana, yes, pretty name. Yeah, I wanted to do something to test the internet today that wasn't going to be horrendous or annoying if it got cut off. You know, it's just a what's in my bag. You can probably work it out for yourself. You've seen enough of them from me, but I wanted to test my internet. So keep your fingers crossed it's going to stay working. This is my bag. I love my bag. I can proudly say that the only other person I know of who had a Fossil Satchel before me was, I can't remember her name, the girl who did the original Fossil Sydney Satchel. She's got the beautiful burgundy one, which is really nice. She did her video about a year after she actually got the bag, and I had already had my bag since the Christmas about 8 months before. So I can proudly say I was ahead of the curve on this one. For once, yes. I've been a goth since 1984 and I'm finally ahead of the curve. I was ahead in the fashion stakes. So I have the ultimate planner bag, and the reason I bought this bag is because it fits so much, and as you will know if you've got a Sydney Satchel, it opens all the way around on both sides. It's got double zippers, which means you can literally open it like a backpack and get everything out without having to unpack your entire bag to get something that's at the bottom. I love it. It's especially useful for me because, hi Patricia, when we're not having a heat wave and I can wear my rings, I've always got really chunky jewellery on. I've not been wearing my rings lately because it's a bit too hot. They keep sticking on my fingers and making my fingers go really hot and sweaty. It's not very nice. So usually I've got these big chunky rings on. I put my hand in, I'd go to pull my hand out and my rings are caught on everything. Hi Angela. So for me this is perfect. Absolutely perfect. It's only got one outside pocket, which is great. I just have this is my old phone. It's a Galaxy Note 3. I am using it at the moment as a backup for my Metamoji Note planner and everything else because it's got the same. Hi Brenda. Yeah, what a surprise. My internet's back. Let's see how long it stays, right? My Galaxy Note 3, this normally lives in the car. It's my iPod and GPS, and it's emergency phone, basically. But it's so hot at the moment that I don't leave it in the car. So I've just been putting it in here and using it as a backup if my tablet battery dies. But fingers crossed, my tablet battery hasn't died yet, which is really good because I'm using my tablet, as you can imagine, all the time for everything. Except my phone, obviously. When this is not in here, so when it's cool enough to leave this in my car, I usually just have my iPhone shoved in there because that pocket is small, is big enough and deep enough that I can put my iPhone 5 in there and nobody could just get that. I always carry it with that side to me, so nobody could just dip their hand in and get it out without me knowing. Because again, you put your hand in these pockets, your hand disappears. So that's my Galaxy Note 3, like I say, usually in the car. I don't very often use the long strap. The long strap is actually in the other bit that I don't use, which is, I'm going to turn it this way so you can see a little bit better. Another good thing about this bag, you can gently roll it out and look, it's like a little bucket. It's great. I also don't use this zip thing because if I put stuff in zips, out of sight, out of mind, and then I go to clear out my bag and I open the zipper and I go, what's in here? Oh, look. All these things that I didn't know were in there. So I don't have anything else in there except I've got a little witchy charm and I've got my long strap. If I'm out shopping and I have a lot of bags to carry, I will put the strap on and wear it crossbody. Just so that it's easier to carry, so I don't have my bag sticking out and it's, you know, it's convenient. But I don't use it very often. I prefer to carry my bag. Another thing I love about this bag is that I can, even with my chubby arms, I can carry it on my crook of my arm. And I've got big arms. I'm chunky. So if you've got big arms and you like to carry your satchel or your bag like that, this is the bag to get. Because I don't use the bag strap, the long strap, Let's try that again. Because I don't use the long strap, the links for it are not of any use. So what I tend to do, I have I don't have my keys with me to show you, but I've got a long chain. It's my old dog's chain from when I was little. I kept it after she died. And on one end, I've got it attached to my keys, and on the other end, I've got a lobster clasp, and I will often put my keys in the pocket there and clip it to there so that I can get my keys really easily. So there's that. And then on the other side, you probably noticed this already, I have my sunglasses. Usually, you know, so I've got it here. It's really easy to just get my sunglasses on and off of there because they've got a hinge like that, they tend to go on and not just slide off again. So it's really convenient. Otherwise, I tend to end up doing that with them, and then when I bend over, it falls off. And there's nothing more embarrassing than having to retrieve your sunglasses from under somewhere. What's the model of the bag? Sorry, did I not say? It's the Fossil Sydney Satchel in... It's called charcoal, but it's black. Trust me, it's jet black with the gold livery. They have not yet made one with silver livery. If they ever make a black one with silver livery, it mine, and then I'll sell this one on. But this was the first one that they brought out. They brought this out in, I think, the black and the black and caramel originally, and then about 6 months later they brought out the burgundy red one that can't remember her name. The girl who did the first planner video with the fossil. Oh, you got here late. Okay. Hello, Sparkle Frogs. Sorry, I didn't see you there. You have that bag, but you carry too much crap to use it. I don't carry a lot of crap. As you can see, I'm very minimalist. Even when I'm not digital, I'm minimalist, because the only things that I do is I swap out these for my journal and or my journal and planner. I'm way too lazy. This is where being really, really lazy comes in so handy, because I have a bad shoulder and I've got enough weight to lug around as it is without adding extra in my bag. I'm too lazy to carry a heavy bag, so I get to be minimalist. It's really cool. And a lot of the time I won't even take my bag with me. You know, if I'm just popping out and I know I'm not going to be very long and I don't need some of this stuff, like if I'm just popping out, I quite often pop out to Costa just to do an hour's work and a coffee, just to have a change of scenery. That's all I take with me, is my wallet and my tablet. Or my wallet and my journal. I don't take my entire bag. I don't need to. Bonus of having a car, you see. If I don't have to carry it, it's in the car. Oh, you're too lazy to clean out your bag. Well, so am I. That's why I don't have a lot of crap in here. Because I don't put a lot of crap in here. I'm too lazy to carry it in the first place. Anyway, let's get on. So, yeah, the zip, I only have the strap in there for when I need it. I've got some hair clips in the little credit card slots. I don't use these credit card slots. The only things I've got in here is my 2 library cards, because if I'm going to either of the libraries, I will have my bag with me. So I might as well leave my library cards in here. Also, my fossil bits, my original fossil tags. There you go. There's the code for the black Sydney fossil. Oh, let me just get it in focus. 1 second. I have to refocus for up close stuff, just in case anybody wants to get the code for it. Come on, focus, there we go. So if you do want the code for it, you can screenshot that. Let's take it back to where it was before. So yeah, I've just got those in there. I do like to keep all the bits for my bag. I've got the original tote bag for it as well that it comes with. It's got like a little shoe bag almost that it goes in. I've got another bag in it at the moment. It's almost identical to this one, it just doesn't have the zippers all the way down. So, the main bit of the bag. The thing I love about this bag more than anything is that it's wider at the bottom than it is at the top. So everything sinks to the bottom, which means you can put a lot of stuff in the bottom, but it's still, hi Mika, it's still quite thin at the top because, you know, everything sinks to the bottom. But because it sinks to the bottom, you can still get to it. So at the moment, I've got my fan in here. I bought this in Bruges, in Belgium, when I went to Belgium in about 2006, I think. It's old. It's been knocking around for a while. It was the last black fan left in the shop. She only had cream and ivory out because it was the middle of summer, obviously. So everybody was wanting white fans in Brussels lace, and I went in all dressed in complete goth uniform, as you do, and I said, don't suppose you've got anything else that's not white or cream? And she went, I've got one black one you can have. I'm like, yes, there we go. This is so handy, and it's nice because it's not just, I don't know, there's something very elegant about getting a fan out. It's a bit pretentious as well, which, you know, goth, hello. I don't know, there's something really nice about getting a nice fan out and just being able to fan yourself off instead of using, you know, the menu at the table or whatever. You know, people do use whatever comes to hand. I like the fact that I've got a fan. Let me unpack it as I go. You've seen how it looks inside. Everything is just lined up like this. That's all. So let's do it this way so you can see how much is in here. I have, of course, my tablet. Galaxy Note 10.1. It is 10.5 inches long by 7 inches wide, and I can tell you that my 10 by 7.5 inch sketchbook fits in here as well, but if I put that in, I have to put it so that it's up in the corner here, like that, and then I have to pull this up and over. That's why there's slightly squared off corners here. You have to pull it up and over to fit the sketchbook, otherwise it gets stuck in zip. Okay, a little tip there. So 10.7 inch, you could probably put an 11 by 7 in, because there's still plenty of room on the sides, but you can't fit an A4 in here. Oh, you're from Bruges? Cool. Yeah, lace and chocolate. Can't go wrong, really. So yeah, Samsung, for anybody who hasn't seen it already, I do have a carry strap. This was £10 on Amazon. I don't normally spend that kind of money on accessories, and I don't normally buy leather unless, you see, I only buy leather if I want it to last. So I would rather spend, however it was, 70 odd quid, I think this bag was, a leather bag, 70 odd pounds. I have not bought another bag since, and I've had this 3.5 years now. I think it's better to have a good quality bag that you buy once than keep repurchasing bags that are cheaply made in China, hurt the environment, etc., etc., usually made out of PVC or PVU, which is not a good thing for the environment, etc. So anything that I buy that I think, well, I'm going to use this a lot, I want it to last, I will buy leather. So I bought this off Amazon. It is by Sue-Ann Accessories, SOOANN. I've had Sue-Ann stuff before. I think I've got a bag by Sue-Ann as well, actually, and that's still going. So this is just a little hand strap. It's very sturdy, and I've got no complaints. This has stretched really nicely. Not stretched, but worn in. It was extremely stiff. The first time I used it, I couldn't get my hand in here. Now it fits my hand perfectly. So, and I did put leather care cream on it before I used it to make sure that it didn't crack or anything like that. There we go. I don't have a full case for my Samsung. That's not true. I do have a full case for my Samsung, but it doesn't fit with this, and I prefer using this for my tablet when I'm using it all the time. Hi, baby. Hi. Yeah, you're pretty. Hi. I love you. I do have a matte screen protector on it to stop it getting scratched. Very badly put on, as you can tell. I did it myself. I should have taken it into the shop and got the little guy to do it in there, because he did my phone, and honestly, you couldn't tell there was a screen protector on it. But me, no, I've got dog hairs and everything stuck under there. But it doesn't really bother me when it's turned on, so you can't really see it when it's turned on. So it's not a big deal. But it stops the screen getting scratched. And because there's cutouts, I've had a few people ask about the green tape. What's the green tape for? Well, because there's cutouts in the screen protector, and I don't use the front-facing camera very often, I just stuck a little bit of washi tape over the flash and the camera, the front-facing flash and the camera, just to stop it getting dirty and scratched or anything. It's much better to just have a bit of low-tack tape that when I want to use it, I can just untape it and then put it back. So there's that. Of course, if you're going to be all digital, you need to have backup. So here is my case. Now this normally lives, as you saw, just there. And I always put it in that way. This is why it's important to be organised in your bag. I've got my bag the wrong way around. That's what happens when you haven't got your tablet in. You can't see where everything is. I always put it in that way round because I always use my zipper that way. Because I carry it that way, so I can get to my purse and everything. It's all right there. But also, here, this is where I normally have my glasses. These glasses, my reading glasses. Obviously, I'm wearing them at the moment, so I just put my sunglasses, spare sunglasses in there. So you can see, get the idea. So I literally just have my regular glasses slotted in there. They're protected and I don't have to worry about them getting scratched. Also in this little pouch, I got this free from Birchbox a while back. I can take those out now, I don't need them in there. Use those in the garden. I got this as it's a makeup pouch or it's supposed to put your sponge or something in, I don't know. But it's waterproof, so I thought, well, you know what? I'm just going to use it for my battery. So I've got a little 800 mAh power bank. It's an Optimum. Pretty basic. It's got an in and an out. Simple as that. Model number 311995. It's a 2.1 amp output and that's it. It's a portable charger. This will usually charge my tablet and my iPhone once. But it will also charge my tablet twice. It won't charge the iPhone twice. The iPhone seems to use more power. But it will do both, or it will do the tablet twice. So that's handy. And it's nice and sleek, so it's not taking up bulk. In the pocket, I just have the cable, the charging cable for this, so that I don't get them mixed up. And then I've just got my Samsung cable and my Lightning cable banded together there. So I don't even bother undoing this or anything. I just plug it in. Plug my cable in. And that's it. Just leave it charging. So I've been carrying that around. This is the lightest one I have. I have another one that can charge all my equipment several times and start the car. But it's really heavy. So I've got that sitting here at the moment. I normally carry it in the car, obviously. So if you're going to go digital, I strongly advise you to get one of these. I also have, because sometimes if I'm out with the dogs, all I take is my phone. In order to be able to recharge my phone, I also have a little juice cube, which again comes with its own little wires for charging, which are plugged in my bedroom. I don't carry the wires about with me. It takes a ordinary USB lightning cable, charges my iPhone up once. Really handy to have, especially if I'm out with the dogs, because I can literally put both in my little bag is smaller than this, and I can put them in there with my doggy accessories, and if I need to charge my phone, I can. I've got a little pencil case. You would think that being a sketcher, I would actually carry more in my pencil case, But this is what I always carry in my pencil case. I have a A5 case that I take with me that I leave in the car if I'm going sketching. It's a dedicated sketching pouch. This just lives in my handbag. And if I'm using my regular journal, normally I will just use my Bics. I've also got a mechanical pencil in here that has an eraser, just in case I want a pencil. And I've got lipstick and lip balm and a nail file. Always a nail file. I don't carry more than that, and I don't take the lipstick that I'm wearing that day either, but I just, if it comes off, it comes off. I just stick that one on. At the very bottom of my bag, because I'm English, I have an umbrella. We don't go anywhere without an umbrella. We just don't. Even we're having a heat wave and I still don't go anywhere without my umbrella. So I've got my umbrella. I have my shopper. It's just a little foldy up, waterproof shopper baggy thing. And I have my little rose clip. Because if you're going to spend 70 odd quid on a bag, it's worth spending a £5 on a little thing that you can hook on the table to put your bag on, so that you don't have to put your bag on the floor in grotty places. Very useful. I also have under my, because my table has, it's got kind of the top of the table and then there's a bar underneath, and the bar has a gap. And this bar is quite thin, so I've just put a shower ring, you know, those split shower rings on. So when I'm sitting at my desk, I just clip my bag onto there. Oh, there you go. One of those. It's just hooked on the bar, and I just hook my bag on there so it's not sitting on the floor. The bag handle I got from eBay. I buy everything from eBay or Amazon, because Amazon delivers next day and eBay is cheap. That's it. That's all that's in there. Nothing else. So those two live in the little side pocket there, so they're easy to grab. Because those two disappear to the bottom of the bag and they're both black. Because I always have a black bag with a black inside, I tend to always buy coloured accessories, and I usually go for red. But they didn't have these in anything other than black or hideous yellow, so I went for black. And obviously that would just disappear into the bottom of the bag anyway, so. And finally, this thing that is attached to my other side clip, this is my wallet. So let's put this back. Voila. And I'll show you my wallet. I've had issues with getting wallets for a while because I don't like to carry anything too big. But I was using a Note 3, and a Note 3 is big on its own. So I had one of those basic fold-over wallets that, you know, you put your phone in the clip and you can fit 3 credit cards in, and that's pretty much it, and that's all that fits, which was okay, but it was still quite big. Since I've swapped to an iPhone 5, you can see my wallet is smaller than my previous phone. And I don't, like I said, I don't carry this one around. It lives in my car. So this is by, it's spelt High Nice, but it's a Korean brand, and I think it's pronounced Hanichi or something like that. It did come with a carry strap that had a lobster clasp. I did not like the lobster clasp. It was really naff and wasn't going to hold. So I put a keyring through it with my Maddie. Doesn't it look just like Maddie? Oops, sorry. It's even got the play with me face. It's my Maddie. And I put I don't know where this came from. I think it's one of those things that you clip a ID badge to. You know the little ID badges with the lobster clips? I'm pretty sure that's what it's for. And then you clip this to your belt loop so you can put your ID in your pocket. I seem to remember using it like that before. I've usually got this either clipped to there so that I've got something to grab onto, because this is very big and chunky and I've got small fingers, so I tend to always have something that I can loop around my fingers. But I also use this to clip it to my bag. If I have this out in the car, I clip it to the thing in the car. I've always got my purse clipped to something because this has all my credit cards and my phone in it. This is my life. If I had to leave with one thing other than my dogs, this is what I would take. It wouldn't be my handbag, it would be this. Ideally it would be my handbag, but this is what I would grab if nothing else. The thing I love about this is that it's not just a regular wallet, it's also got a phone thing. So in here, regular wallet. I don't normally carry change. Every time I get change, I take it out and I put it in the car so that I've got parking change. But I've got some silver coins that I need to put in the car there. And I've got my 2 credit cards. I also have Scanner Protect because this doesn't actually have Scanner Guard. Although this is magnetic. I'll show you that in a second. So technically it probably doesn't read anyway. I think because of the magnet it wouldn't read anyway. But I'd rather have a Scanner Guard. So I've got a Scanner Guard on one side. This has a mirror. That's why I don't have a mirror in my handbag. Because look. Who needs a mirror? I've got a mirror. Woohoo! I also carry my headphones in here because otherwise knitting drives me insane. And obviously because my phone's in here, it's handy to have them there. I have my Wi-Fi cards in there, and then the other half of the Scanner Guard is on this side underneath my driving licence, which I don't normally carry that way round. I've got it that way round for protection, for privacy, etc. Because our English driver's licence have date of birth, address, all sorts on it. It even has, I think, my current car registration. So, and it's photo ID as well. So I always carry that the other way round. Wi-Fi cards, you know, like the ones with that symbol on, Scan and Go. We call them Wi-Fi payment cards. So instead of using chip and pin, you just put it over the scanner and it scans. But sneaky people get scanners that can scan your cards from a distance. So I put a Scanner Guard in there to stop people doing that. Do you not have Wi-Fi cards in America? Are you still using scratch and sign? I don't know what they're called over there. We call it Wi-Fi because it's the Wi-Fi symbol. So I've got my regular debit card there. That's the one I generally use. Got my all-important Starbucks card, obviously, although I do have my Starbucks and Costa apps, and I use Apple Pay as well. But I like my lovely black Starbucks card. I think it's classy, so I have it in there. And then I've got, behind my driver's licence, is the other half of my Scanner Guard. So all of my cards are wedged between my 2 Scanner Guards. You can get the Scanner Guards from eBay. RFID, I think they're called. This is actually it's called SGC Scanner Guard card. It's by Scanner Guard Corp from Miami, Florida. And it's a patented design, so it's proper RFID. You know, you just put your cards in between the two, so you have one in the front, one in the back. Yeah, I've got an RFID wallet as well, and I would have preferred if this was RFID, but the inconvenience of having two tiny little cards, when one of them is actually a mirror as well, is less inconvenient than not being able to carry my phone and my wallet. I prefer this than having a separate wallet and a separate phone. I would lose my phone if I did that. So this side, this is clever. It's magnetic. That's where the magnet comes in. So you've really got to... I would have to have this open and drop it from quite a height to have my phone come out of here, because it just doesn't shift. So if I'm not carrying my phone, there's a bit of a gap, but it doesn't affect carrying the wallet. And then this is just a simple, it's a matching case for the phone, which just slips on, like iPhone cases do. Well, all cases do. Most cases do. So, obviously my phone is really light and flimsy without it. Whenever I am in the house, I tend to only have it like this because cases drive me insane. Plus, with this one being magnetic, it affects my... I've got a Wacom, and it affects my Wacom with it being magnetic, and everything sticks to it. Drives me insane. So I do tend to leave this bit in here. But obviously, if you're in and out all the time, that's not convenient. But I tend to just leave it in there because I'm not in and out all the time. I'm usually at home. I love the Penny Bridge Compact. Yeah, I love the Penny Bridge Compact. The problem is my phone didn't fit in it. It was too wide. And because the Penny Bridge Compact is huge, it was nice to have the planner and purse in one, but then I still had to carry my phone separate. So generally the combination, I would rather have the phone and the wallet together and a planner separate than have the planner and wallet together and the phone separate. That's my preference. I know a lot of people prefer to have their phone separate to their planner, but my phone is either in my wallet or in my hand. Miss having my rings. Yeah, I love my rings, but it's just too hot at the moment. Even I noticed the girl next door. I mean, she's tiny. She's petite, like 4 foot nothing and rail thin. There's nothing of her at all. She's like a little sparrow, and even she's not wearing her rings at the moment because it's too hot. We're just all sweltering. I've been bitten. Not by mosquitoes, I don't think. We don't get mosquitoes here, but definitely gnats or horseflies or something. I was got in the... Hi, Joe. I was got in the garden yesterday. I was not happy about that. Yeah, so that's it. That's all I've got for you today. That's my setup. So really nice and simple. I don't carry anything. We don't have air conditioning in the UK, no. The only places that have air conditioning in the UK is purpose-built offices, which have... A lot of the modern offices that are purpose-built have air conditioning and solar panels. But the only place we have aircon here is American companies. Like KFC doesn't have aircon, but Burger King and McDonald's do. I don't know why KFC doesn't have aircon, but it's always hot in KFC. But if you want to cool off, this is why a lot of people say to me, oh, why do you go out and sit in a coffee shop for an hour if you're not social and you can't take the dogs and stuff like that? I go to cool off. Or sometimes in the winter to warm up. Because in places like McDonald's or Costa, it's always 60 degrees. Always. All year. So... yeah, well, we have central heating because on average it's colder here than it is hot. It's like being in Seattle. We're like the Pacific Northwest here. And from what I understand, the Pacific Northwest, a lot of places don't have air conditioning either. They have heaters because it's colder more often than it's hot. and they don't tend to have heat waves like we don't tend to have heat waves. This is really unusual for us. We're still 10 degrees above the average for the time of year, believe it or not. It's nice. I'm not knocking it at all, but I think if I worked from home and I lived in a more modern house and I didn't have a big sash window, like literally my window is floor to ceiling and half of it is window. If I was limber enough to stand on a chair and climb out the window, I could. That's how big the window is, because it's a fire safety window. So it's a big sash window that opens properly. I can even pick up the dogs and throw them out the window and they'll just land on the yard. Oh, you're from Liverpool? Oh, you're getting a nice sea breeze though, Pat. No sea breeze here. Although we're pretty high up. I'm in the highest point in Staffordshire here. So it's fairly nice. No matter where I go, I'm at the top of the hill. So it's quite cool where I am. So, that was quite long what's in my bag video, but you know me, I like to waffle. Normally, let me show you normally. Obviously, this is my journal. And instead of this, I simply have this. And sometimes I have my moleskin. I've got a large moleskin notebook that I have that goes in there as well. That's my planner, my bullet journal. This is my regular journal and sketchbook. And this plus my moleskin is the same weight as this. So there's no, you know, this side by side, this is really heavy, but a moleskin is much heavier and much denser. So the two together actually weigh the same. I don't think I would carry that and my planner and this. I would carry either or. But I do still carry this because I use it for my iPhone. We would die over here in our Australian summer if we didn't have aircon. Well, yeah, because Australia is nearer the equator, isn't it? Well, depending on where you live in Australia, obviously. Oh, I do love having a car. We love having a car, don't we, Miss Maddie? She loves going in the car. In fact, they're quite happy to go in the car rather than go for a walk. Or as well as go for a walk. Or instead of go for a walk. If it's raining, Maddie won't go out in the rain. She just won't. It's not even like, oh, but, you know, she's a dog, just train her to... No, she won't. You try moving 46 pounds of staffy that's mostly muscle and see if you can get her to go out in the rain. And then come back and tell me about how she'll go out in the rain. She won't. She'll go out in drizzle, but if it's actually raining, wet water stuff, no, she's not having it. But she will run around under the umbrella to the car and we'll go for a walk in the car. We go for a walk in the car. Because it's stimulating their mind. I mean, obviously, yes, they need exercise. Duh. And they do get exercise. I take them out every day, obviously. And on Sundays, which is my day, we quite often go for a long walk or we go out somewhere. Even if I just sit and draw, they are on their long lines running about. But yeah, it's more to do with these two because they're both very intelligent. Some dogs are a bit dopey. I've had a boxer before. She was like really thick. And I don't mean thick as in chunky. I mean thick as in hello, anybody home? And she didn't need a lot of entertainment. You know, you throw a ball for her twice, that was it. She was worn out. She was like, oh God, this is mentally taxing. I can't handle it. But Maddie, got to be entertained. Scooby, got to be entertained. So it's just as good to put them in the car and take them out. I open the windows a little bit at the back. They get to smell lots of things. We go to interesting places. And if it stops raining, we get out. If it doesn't stop raining, Maddie doesn't get out. People think it's hilarious when I say I've got a dog that won't go out in the rain, but she really won't. You have a blue staffy. Oh, it's something about staffies. I know Scooby doesn't love the rain, but he will go out in it, especially if he needs to pee. He'll go out, he'll pee really fast, and he'll come running back in. Maddie will hold it until it stops raining. She just will not go out in the rain. I've never known a dog like it. Most dogs, you can encourage them, especially if they think they're going for a walk. You know, walk over getting wet. Always. Treat over getting wet. Absolutely. She's quite happy to get in any swampy, muddy, nasty, stinky hole full of water and mud. Perfectly fine. She'll get in that. But water falling from up? No, she's not into it. She'll have a bath, but she won't get in the shower. I think she just doesn't like the water on her head. Can't say I blame her. You're in southern Australia. Okay, I'm going to ask a stupid question now. Southern Australia, because, like, I'm going to sound really stupid now, but I'm not good with directions, okay? North, south, Australia, south. So South Australia is still nearer the South Pole, right? Nobody's going to tell me that South Australia is actually nearer the equator. Because when I think, oh, south of France, I automatically think that's near the equator. But southern Australia would be further away from the equator. Yes. Please tell me that's right, because I'm going to sound really stupid and dense otherwise. I'm really not good with north, south, east, west. I don't understand on American programmes. How on earth? That's right. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. You've put my mind at rest. So if somebody on Australia says they're further south than somebody else, it means they're further down the bottom. Okay, I was going to sound really stupid if that wasn't the case. Because when you think north-south, you automatically think swapped over. Well, I do anyway. Reversing things is not my forte. That's right, okay. Thank you. Because to me, when I say it's in the south, that means it's getting hotter. It's nearer the equator. You're directionally impaired as well, yeah. Totally. I don't understand. Tell me. Americans, tell me. And Australians, because Australians, you do this as well. Although for Australians, it's probably easier because you have 4 cities and they're north, south, east and west. So it's probably easier for you guys. But Americans, all these places, they're heading east on such and such a road. Suspect is heading west. How the hell do you know? I mean, literally. I'm sure people who drive for a living probably, you know, a lot of your taxi drivers and your cops and all that seem to know this stuff off by heart. Is it something that they learn? Or is it something that you're all taught in school? Because here we use left and right. Or this way and that way. Or thingy and what's it if you're my mum. And then she gets thingy and what's it confused. My dad's directionally impaired as well. You can say, turn right, Dad. Turn right. Turn right. And he'll turn left. Guaranteed. And then he'll say, you said turn left. I'm like, no, we said turn right, Dad. Your other left. Oh, right, because you have a grid system. Oh, right, okay. So, like, New York is the most famous grid system, isn't it? That was the original one. So East Street and West Street is literally on the west of the city or on the east of the city. So an east or west street would be that side or that side, so it would run that way. And then your north-south is... Well, yeah, but if you're giving directions to somebody, you assume they're travelling the way they want to go. So it's not subjective, is it? Like, if somebody stops me and says, how do I get to such and such? I'm like, right, go down there, turn left. You know. I'm not like, head down Moreland Road, heading east on such and such. What? And you don't need to know for the motorways, because everybody knows that M1, M2, M3 go across and M3, M4, M4, M5, M6 go up and down. GPS. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, Dip. GPS. Do you know what I discovered the other day? And I'm going to tell you about this because, again, might sound stupid, but I didn't know. My iPhone, the Wi-Fi doesn't work. The Wi-Fi plate is dead. Now, that means that the GPS doesn't work, the Bluetooth doesn't work, and the Wi-Fi doesn't work. So you would automatically assume, as I did, that you can't use this as a GPS device because the GPS doesn't work. This has fully functioning Wi-Fi, GPS, etc., but it's a pay-as-you-go phone. I don't have a SIM card in it. So again, no data, no GPS. Right? Wrong! Both of these devices work fully functioning as GPS devices, as long as location is on. Now, how the hell does that work? I'm assuming that this one must work off the GPS, but then how does it get the data from the GPS if it's got no data connection? Where's the connection coming from? This one has unlimited data, but the GPS chip doesn't work. So what is this, pinging off cell towers or something? I mean, how the hell? But either way, both of these fully functioning despite the fact that one doesn't have GPS and one doesn't have any data connection. The Wi-Fi works on this, but obviously if you're out in the middle of nowhere, you don't have any Wi-Fi. Which is how I discovered that it worked, by the way. I use Google Maps on both. I don't know. No, I don't think it automatically downloads the information on the GPS app. I suppose if you've got a GPS app, it does. But I just use Google Maps. And Google Maps, you've got the option to download local data if you want to, so that you can use it offline. But I don't have the downloaded option because it had too much. I don't have enough space on this. And the download is too big on this to download it on data, and it doesn't have Wi-Fi, so you can't get the download. Battery life, I thought the... Oh, I've missed a bit. Hang on. If I ask for directions, it starts with, you're going the wrong way, turn around. Round here, if anybody asks for directions, it's usually, well, it's just over there through that road, but you can't go down that road because it's one way. So what you've got to do is go all the way back down there, turn around, go around here, go up there, go around here, come back down, and then come back down that street as if you were going to come out here, because you can't turn up there. Everywhere around here is one-way streets. It drives me insane. Cell towers, yeah, I'm assuming cell towers. For the data, it's got to be cell towers, hasn't it? There's no other way it could get the information. Because the information is too big to download. So it's not on the phone, I know that. It doesn't have Wi-Fi. the GPS doesn't work. So it's got to be pinging off. It's got to be picking up off the SIM card, hasn't it? That's the only logical explanation. It's picking up off the SIM card. This one doesn't have a SIM card and it doesn't have any data. So how is this one working? Could it be pinging off cell towers then? Yeah, but it doesn't have any SIM card. It can't ping off cell towers because there's nothing to ping. This is what I don't understand. If it had a SIM card, I could understand it because it would be connecting to 3G, wouldn't it? So the service is available whether or not you've got a paid data available. Yeah. I didn't know that. I thought you had to have... Thanks, Planner Aussie. See you again. I honestly have always thought that to use GPS you had to have a data connection, because when I first had a GPS, back in the day when your phone was the size of your car, when I had a GPS, you had to download all the information and then, or you had to connect it to data. It was one or the other. You couldn't do both. So, oh yeah, I never thought of that, because emergency calls, you don't have to have data or anything. You don't have to have any credit or anything. You just dial the phone. You use your GPS without Wi-Fi. Yeah, but do you use your data? Do you have a data connection without GPS? Has GPS come that before? Somebody tell us. Somebody techie explain to me how GPS works without any... There must be multiple ways of connecting to it, is the only thing I can think. There must be different ways of connecting, because... Yeah, you can make emergency calls even on a locked phone here. Although I don't know if that's changing with Apple's new privacy laws. But even on a locked phone, like when this is locked, if you press it and then press it again as if you're going to enter the code, you can still dial 101 999, and if you're in another country, whatever their emergency code is. When you're calling emergency lines, it activates your GPS and data even when you have it put off. But I don't have data on this, and I don't have GPS on this. And I can still do it on both. Does it activate both but only uses one? Maybe it only uses one. I don't know. It's a mystery. I had no idea. But I thought, because I'm fairly up on... They can't activate it if it doesn't work. It's not about having it switched on or switched off. The GPS chip in this is broken. I can't use the GPS, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth chips are all interlinked. And that chip costs... The only place that can replace it is Apple. And for Apple to do it, they want £495. I've only got an iPhone 5S. I could buy a new one for that. I could buy 2 new ones for that. It's not about whether it's activated or not. It does not work on this phone. How do you break a GPS chip? Well, the phone's got water damage, so I'm guessing that's how you break a GPS chip. But everything else works. Oh yeah, it's a connection, obviously. Absolutely. But that's what I'm saying. It can only possibly go through the SIM and the data connection because the GPS and Wi-Fi and everything else does not work. And yet this one is exactly the opposite, and this one still works the same. Do you see what I'm saying? There's 2 halves of a coin, and this half has this half of it, and this half have this half of it, but they both work the same way, and it's mind-boggling to me. I don't understand how. Location still works on this because the location is linked to the data. If I had turned my data off, your phone contains a GPS receiver. Yes, that's what's broken. It's completely internet independent of the internet connection. Okay. Everything's timed. Oh, it's satellite based. Ah. So this one is using the GPS satellite data that is automatic to the GPS receiver, and this one is going off the data on the SIM card because the GPS receiver is broken. So this one is going to be slower to update because it would rely on the satellites updating or the GPS receiver recycling to get the latest satellite position. Whereas this one pings off cell towers. So this one will work faster. This one will work faster because it's on a cell tower ping, which is closer. But this one is on satellite, so it'll be more accurate, even though it'll be slower to update. Is that right? Have we figured it out, Sparkle? I never thought of satellites. But yeah, GPS, I suppose of course it's off satellites, isn't it? It's obvious now you've said it. Come on, it's obvious now somebody's said it. Now I understand why one works and one doesn't. You Googled it! You shouldn't have told us that. We were all really impressed that you were so clever. You could have won that one. Always trackable, yeah. Which, personally, I find Sparkle Frogs is the smartest one in the room, which is certainly the smartest one in terms of, hey, why don't we go and look it up on Google? Because none of the rest of us thought that, did we? I've been sitting here for 2 days. Admittedly, one of those days I was without internet. But I was sitting here going, how does this work? How does one work and the other doesn't? And ugh. It's all the crap in your bag. I like it. I like it. So, in theory, hey, this has location-based Wi-Fi. That means this must have a GPS chip as well. Does that mean I can use this as a GPS? Because that would be awesome. Because one of the things I find with this, obviously, you know, I don't use either of these in the car, even on using it as a GPS, it's touchscreen, but I will automatically put Siri or Google Speak thingy on. I don't use my hand. Even making a phone call, I'm completely hands-free. Voice activation, people. I don't know why anybody needs to pick their phone up. But because I don't wear my glasses when I'm driving, because my long distance is fine, so I don't need to, I can't see my phone on the dashboard. Could I use this? Because if I could literally put this on the other side of the room. It's got Google voice activation on it. So could I use this as GPS? Even though it's got no data, or well, it's got no SIM card. But it's got GPS. Tablet only has Wi-Fi, no SIM card, so I don't think I could use navigation on it. But that's what I'm saying. This has only got Wi-Fi. There's no SIM card in it. That's why I use it as an iPod. iPod. I just have my MP3 player in here. And my GPS. This has no SIM card in it. Do you see why I'm confused now, Mika? I'm going to have to... Satellite, yeah. Well, this can use... I'm going to have to try it and see if it works. I don't know if this does GPS, actually. It's got location, but I don't know if it's location based on Wi-Fi signal. It probably is, in which case it probably wouldn't work. But could always tether it to something else. Except that my Wi-Fi on my iPhone doesn't work, of course. I'm going to have to try it now. I don't even have maps on here because I always assumed it wouldn't work. But I'm going to have to try it and see. I think it's probably too old to have a GPS chip that would work. I bet it's got GPS based on Wi-Fi location, in which case it wouldn't work because I don't have data on here for the Wi-Fi connection. It's home-based Wi-Fi only on this one. It doesn't have a chip thing. But digital is going okay so far this month. What I have found is normally I use this for sketching and I use it for watching videos and stuff like that. So if I'm going to watch YouTube or something, I'll quite often be doing something else, so I'll have this on. I suspect that's how most people use their tablets, is for entertainment and stuff. That really itches. Stop scratching it. What I've found is, because I'm using this as a planner and a diary and a sketchbook and everything, obviously if I'm using it for planning or sketching or whatever, I can't use it to watch videos as well because it's old and it doesn't have picture-in-picture. I know if you've got an iPad, I don't know if it works with the new 2018 ones, but the iPad Pros, you can have 3 screens open. So you can have a YouTube video playing while you're working on something else. Mine, you can do that, but you can only have the sound going. You can use it in split screen, so you can have a split 2 screens going, but you can't have... If this is your YouTube video, and this is your good notes, you can literally have it like that. That's what I'm trying to explain. House calls. Okay. Thanks for joining us. See you next time, Pat. Brain. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, because I obviously can't use this to watch YouTube and stuff. The more I use my tablet, the more I also use my MacBook, which is really strange. Because normally everything I'm doing on my MacBook, I would normally do on here. And then everything I'm doing on here, I would normally do in a paper planner. So, I'm seriously considering selling my MacBook and getting an iPad. Because I want an iPad I need to upgrade this very soon. Like within the next year, I need to upgrade this because it's on its last legs. In terms of being able to function at the speed I would need it to function. It's doing okay. It's doing a lot better since I jailbroke it, but it really is struggling to run some of the bigger apps because it just doesn't have the hardware. It's like 6 years old. It doesn't have the capability. If I got a new iPad, I'm thinking the 9.7 because the new one that's like student budget is 300 quid or something. I could return this to what I have been using it for, basically an entertainment centre, YouTube, videos, Twitch, that kind of stuff. I also listen to my podcasts and things like that on here because this has got fantastic sound. The sound on this is as good as the sound on my iPhone. You never thought I'd leave the Galaxy world? I lost interest in Galaxy when... I have a Note 3, and my Note 3 functions perfectly well. The issue I have with it is that it doesn't work with my Mac as easily as my iPhone does. And since my mum and dad upgraded to iPhone, and they've discovered FaceTime, it was worth I got this on eBay as a second-hand item, not working, and I fixed it. So I bought it for 30 quid, and I fixed it for 30 quid. So for £60, I have a working iPhone. Just so that I could call my mum on FaceTime, because I'm not paying £75 a month or whatever it is for my SIM contract plus an iPhone. I refuse to pay that kind of money for a phone. It's not going to happen. An iPad is more functional, and it's basically replacing a laptop. That is worth spending £300 on. To me. I didn't buy any of these phones. I've never bought any of my phones first hand. They've always been second hand from somebody else. Hi, Julia. I'm just very lucky in that one of my friends is a tech guy who always has the latest stuff, because it's his job to know about the latest stuff and to understand how it all works. So, you know, he's got the iOS beta, and he's got the latest phones, and he's got 3 or 4 different gadgets all at the same time. And every time I've upgraded, he's had something that he was quite willing to part with for 100 quid or so. So all of my Galaxy stuff belonged to him at one point. I got the 10 and I had the Note 2 off him because my Note 1 died. My Note 1 bricked, basically. It just, one day it decided to turn itself off and has never worked again, no matter what I did to it. My Note 2 basically outdated itself. It just stopped being able to run anything that was any use. And all of my apps updated to Android 4, which is the same thing I had with this. Everything updated to Android 5. This is still on Android 4. Everything, people getting phones now that are Android 8 are going to have the same problem. Once Android 8 is up and running, everybody's going to have a similar problem in that the new apps coming out won't run on an older device. It's very annoying. But it's the way of tech. They assume people have contracts and they just pay stupid amounts of money every month to have the latest phone, which a lot of people do. Your daughter's been FaceTiming you from Europe this week. Yeah. I talk to my mum on the phone a lot more now that we've got FaceTime. So I'm all right with it. I like it. Plus I can, once they bring in group calls, I can talk to my mum, my dad and my sister all at the same time. That'd be quite cool. I like FaceTime. But having said that, before I had my Galaxies, guess what I had? I had an iPhone. My first one was I had the iPhone 2, I think. And then I got an upgrade to the iPhone 3 and then the iPhone 4S. And at some point, round about the iPhone 3, iPhone 4, they did a really nasty thing and outdated all of the old devices. I think it was when they brought out the one with the lightning cable. So basically nothing worked. If it was old, it wasn't going to work anymore. It was only useful as a brick, you know, paperweight. It was a very pretty paperweight. Samsung then did the same thing when they went from 4 to 5. So you have the Note 8. I've heard the Note 8 is quite nice. But the new Samsungs that are out and the new iPhones that are out are virtually the same price now. There's very little difference in price. Even in the tablets, I was looking at them, and apart from the fact that, you know, the specs are almost identical, it's just that on the Samsung ones you get more memory, plus you get an SD card capability. But these days, there's little things that you can plug into the bottom of your iPad that's a lightning connector USB thing. And once the USB 3 comes out, it's going to be even better. You'll be able to just put, like, passport devices and stuff into them. So storage isn't really an issue. I would never get less than 32. 16 is not enough if you do videos. Oh, you have the iPhone 8. There's an iPhone 8. Jeez. I didn't know there was an iPhone 8. I thought the last one was the iPhone 6. I'm a bit behind. I don't find it necessary to have the biggest and best and most up to date. If you have a contract and your contract automatically gives you a new phone and you're not paying anything extra, or it's only a few quid more, then I totally understand getting a new one. Oh, the iPhone X. Is that the iPhone 10? I assume so. I would quite like at some point to upgrade to the iPhone SE, which is like the student version of the high brand. It's like the cheap option, but it's still got a lot of capability. It's similar to the new iPad 9.7. It does everything the iPad Pros do, it's just a bit cheaper because it's not got such a high quality build. And it's got less memory and stuff like that, but Samsung S4 died in April, so now you have a Samsung A5. The S series was too expensive. I like the S and the A5, and I actually like the J versions as well. We had J versions here. The problem I had with them was that the resolution on the video was not good enough, and the microphone was rubbish. That is the one thing, if you are already part of Apple Universe, or Apple Cosmos, or whatever it is they call it, I know it's terribly hipster and chic to have everything iPhone, because that's the way it is. But the reality of it is, if you have a PC, Android works better with it. Windows Phone works with it. Windows Phone doesn't work with anything else, but it works with Microsoft. Android can work with Mac, and it does work with Mac, but it's not as efficient as just plugging in an iPhone. Once you've done the initial setup on all your devices, you've got them all connected to Wi-Fi, you've added their IDs to each other so you can do AirDrop and stuff like that. The Apple Cosmos ecosystem, whatever it's called, is so easy to use. Everything works the same on every device. Whereas Androids are so varied. That's the thing. You pick up they're similar, but they're not the same. Even down to the different, like I've got a Sony. I've got a Sony, and all the buttons are in completely different places. Everything is backwards to the way it is on here. Now, I like this little phone. It's lovely. It's got a really good sound system on it. I use it as a backup, and I quite often have it plugged in overnight because I have sound on overnight because I can't sleep otherwise. I love this little phone. It's really good. But this one is easier to use. But then this one still took me a while to get used to, even having upgraded from a Samsung 2. I upgraded from the Samsung Note 2, and this one still took me at least 3 or 4 weeks to get used to. I have lots of backups because most of them don't work. I can't put a SIM in either of these two, so I have my SIM in here. No, that's not true. I can put a SIM in here. This one works with a SIM. This one doesn't. The SIM tray is broken. It's got a SIM in it, but it still says there's no SIM. Plus, the sound doesn't work very well on it. This one, the microphone doesn't work, so I can't use it for phone calls, which is why I don't have a SIM in it. This one, the Wi-Fi doesn't work, which is why I use this one as a backup. But this one has unlimited data, so it's really handy for when my internet goes off. I don't have backups of backups, but I have lots of very old tech that doesn't work very well, which is why I would like to finally upgrade. If I got the student version of the iPad Pro, not iPad Pro, iPad 9.7 2018 version, the one that is capable, you can use it with Apple Pencil, I can get everything I need for the functionality of a tablet and laptop all in one on that one device. I can use it for sketching, planning, I can put a keyboard on it, etc., just like I've always used this one. This one is getting too old to use. That's the only reason I would upgrade it. And I would still use it, but I would use it for, you know, I'd use it for my Kindle stuff. And can you get the student version without being a student? Yeah, I'm just calling it the student version because that's how artists refer to things. Like there's the artist's grade and there's the student grade. You don't have to be a student. Students get discounts on all Apple products. Worldwide, students get discounts on Apple products. No matter what you buy, you get a discount if you can prove you're a student. At least if you buy from Apple, you get a discount. But usually it's cheaper to buy from somebody else anyway. But I call it the student version because that's who it's aimed at. It's not an iPad Pro, but it has all the capabilities of iPad Pro. But it's slightly smaller. It's this size instead of like the 10.1 or 10.5. Yeah, you have to prove it. You have to have either a student ID card or information from a university confirming that you are registered on a course. And boy, do they check. You can't, because I know somebody who tried to go in because he'd had a letter from the university confirming that he was on the course. But then he dropped out of the course. So he still had an ID card and he still had his letter saying he was a student. Hi, Vicky. But he dropped out of his course 6 weeks before. And he tried to use his student card and his student ID in the Apple shop to get a student discount. And they checked his ID on their system and they said, this student ID was disabled 4 weeks ago. You can't have it. Who would think? Wouldn't you think you'd just wave the ID and go, yeah, I've got student ID, look. And they go, oh, yeah, that's cool. Oh, they don't. They check it. They do here. So, Our student IDs have barcodes, though. I don't know if that's different to student IDs elsewhere. All of our student IDs have barcodes and they're all linked into a central system. Not everybody has access to the information, but you can scan a chip to find out what university it belongs to and whether it's a valid ID. It doesn't give you any other information. It just says, yes, it's valid and it belongs to, like, University of London or whatever. It doesn't give personal information. It's just so that if you find a student ID and you can't read what it says, you can return it or, you know, the police can check it or whatever. Yeah. I look very, very posh with all my tech, but all my tech is secondhand. Everything. Even my iMac. My beautiful, beautiful iMac that I love. I love. It's got 16 gigs of RAM. It's so fast. I love it. It's my favourite thing in the world. If there was a fire, and they're like, you can grab 4 things, I'm grabbing my wallet with my phone, my dogs, and my iMac is coming with me. Dogs out the window, iMac under each arm, you know, because it's amazing. But I bought that secondhand. I bought it on Amazon refurbished. So it's certified and it's got a warranty and everything, but it's secondhand and it was refurbished by Amazon. Now that doesn't always mean that it was used. Sometimes it's a return that they've put in a new box. It didn't come in an original box. It came in a brown box, which Apple stuff doesn't come in brown boxes. So it obviously been repackaged. So it could have been just one that was sent back, that the packaging was damaged and they just put it in a plain box. It could have been brand new. I don't know. But it was certified Apple refurbished and it was like 300. No, my MacBook was 300. This one was 600. Which for an iMac, it's got a 24-inch screen, it's got 16 gig of RAM, and I got it for way less than what it was listed for. It could have been a shop display model, yeah. Because Amazon get a lot of catalogue models, don't they, and stuff like that, where there's nothing wrong with them. There's just that they've been out of the box and they have no box and cables and stuff, so they repackage it. But yeah, I looked it up originally, and I'm pretty sure I paid half price for it because it was only 600 and something. And the same with my MacBook. And at the time, my MacBook was really fast. But it was a really cheap way of upgrading, because a PC would have cost me, my PC needed replacing, and a PC would have cost me 300 odd quid anyway. So to get a refurbished MacBook actually worked out the same price, and it meant I could get back into the Apple system, which is what I wanted to do. Because I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, Apple is everything. Apple does everything. I love Apple. I'm not an Apple fangirl. I'm just practical. And for an artist, a working artist, I don't have... I get annoyed with PCs because you turn them on and you've got time to go and make yourself a coffee and take the dogs for a walk before it finishes updating and loading. You know, it's so slow. Whereas I fire up my Apple, I can be online and streaming within 5 minutes. I can now, I've got my setup sorted. I don't have to mess about with my cameras anymore. My camera's set. It's not moving. If it comes out of the box to sit on a shelf and it's still considered used, even if that's never turned on. Yeah, I've never understood that. But it's not factory. It's only new if it's factory issue, isn't it? Some places will even consider it shop display if it's been in its sealed box on a shelf. Which is even more bizarre, because if it's still factory sealed, then it's new, isn't it? It's not used. But I suppose it could have been knocked off a shelf or something. There's potential for it to be damaged or whatever inside the box. So I suppose that's what it's for. So you buy it used and then you don't have a warranty if it is broken. But anyway, any other tech questions? One Book July questions? Yes, I'm using my MacBook more. Did I finish that, or did I get sidetracked? I'm using my MacBook more because I'm basically just watching YouTube on it, which seems a bit of a pointless thing to have a MacBook for when I can do that on my tablet. So I'm considering selling my MacBook, because I'm sure there's somebody out there who's poor like me and can't afford Apple's prices, but would quite happily pay a few £100 for a MacBook that's perfectly working. And then I can upgrade to the little iPad. And then I can use this one for watching YouTube and actually use the iPad for more stuff, because this is just not capable of doing what I need it to do. It's better than it was, but it's slow. I have to keep restarting it. It's not ideal. It's what you use yours for. Yeah, Wimbledon's on in a minute. I don't watch Wimbledon. I have no interest in sport whatsoever. iPad for filming? No, I use this for filming. That's another reason why I upgraded. I was convinced. Ooh, that's another reason I was convinced to get an iPhone, was because FaceTime, obviously, with my mum, it's much easier. Plus, it means I'm up to date with Apple, so if they get into trouble, I know how to help them fix it. But also, this is much handier for filming, because this weighs a ton. Seriously, this one is so heavy. And I was vlogging with it, and I'm holding it like this. I've got tiny hands, and I'm holding it like this. Yes, I could get a thing for it, but that makes it even heavier and bigger and more cumbersome. I was always really conscious of people looking at me because I was carrying a bloody great phone. Whereas with this, I can pretty much hide it in my hand. It's also much lighter, so if I put it on a stand, there's no weight to it when I've got my sketchbook in my hand as well, got my phone, I've got my clip, you know, there's no weight to it, so I can film with this more easily. Plus the filming quality is out of this world. If you're an artist or a vlogger or anything like that, unless you can afford to get high quality products or the latest products for Android and stuff, unless you're got money to burn or you're a techie, you're far better going with Apple because it's just easier to do. And it just works, and it's better quality. And now that they've stopped messing around with saying, oh no, we're going to make that obsolete, it's not going to run that system anymore. Now they've stopped doing that again. That reminds me, I must update this to 11.4 today, now that it's stable. Anyway, we've waffled, and I need more coffee. And like you say, the tennis is on. I don't watch tennis, I have no interest in sport, but there's something incredibly relaxing about listening to dunk, 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 dunk. I have the sound on. I put it on the radio, just listen to the sound, because it's relaxing. I might watch it live, actually. I think it's live on YouTube, isn't it? So there won't be any commentary, it'll just be the sound of the tennis, which is what I like. I don't care who wins, as long as they play. If only the commentators would shut up. Yeah, well, that's why I like YouTube Live. I watched the Royal Wedding on YouTube Live because there was no commentary whatsoever. It was great. I watched the whole of the Royal Wedding without a single person going, oh, and here's so-and-so, looks like she's wearing Christian Louboutin, and of course that's so-and-so, and he's seventh cousin twice removed from so-and-so, who's the... I don't care. I just want to watch. I don't care who they are. I just want to watch. In peace and quiet. Thank you. Anyway, enough. Time to stop. Tennis. 8 minutes. You've got 8 minutes before the tennis starts to go and sort yourself out with some strawberries and cream and a coffee. Or Pimm's or whatever it is you're having. Gin and tonic. I don't know. Oh my god. Look at this. Let me just swing the camera. Having said I haven't moved my camera. Look at that. Excuse the mess on the floor. I've got to tidy my desk. Look at that. Isn't she adorable? How cute is that? With her belly in the air like she just don't care. And with that, I will leave you. Thanks for joining me, and I will be back with another One Book July update on Monday. And I've got a couple of uploads to do for Patreon. I don't know if I'm going to do a Patreon live this evening, but I might once it cools off. My internet seems to be stable. So hopefully, fingers crossed.